Okay, everybody. I'm gonna try something new here. There's this book that I've always been interested in. It's called Working. 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 You know, like you're working, going to work, working. It's by Studs Terkel. Very interesting name. I think from what I understand, this book was about this guy that kind of like back in the 70s in the United States, he went around and, interviewed all these people from different walks of life, and basically he compiled all of their stories into a book. And each person has, I don't know, a couple pages, doing different work like farmer, cab driver, utility man, factory mechanic, project coordinator, yacht broker, waitress, supermarket box boy, gas meter reader, order filler, auditor, all kinds of stuff. So, as a working man, I'm fascinated by these stories, and I think other people will too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read or narrate these stories, and at the end I'm going to have some of my commentary, but based on my experience. So let's get started. The first one we'll do is Aunt Katherine Haynes. She is a farm woman. Okay. A worked out mining town in East Kentucky. Blackie. It is near the Virginia border. The Cumberlands are in view. Is it fog, smoke, or a heavy dust that causes them to appear more distant than they really are? The people of the town, population 350. The young have gone. Are many of them of Revolutionary War stock. Most are on welfare. Along the superhighway, cutting through the mountains, gangs of men are casually engaged in road repair. All-day trucks and half-trucks rumble by, kicking up clouds of coughing dust. During the trip to Blackie, there were glimpses of deep hollers and shacks, and an occasional person half hidden by the mountain greenery were the ubiquitous small mountains of slag. So I think this is this is by the author, right? It's not actually by the person. So how am I going to differentiate that in audio? Because in the book it's kind of italicized. So maybe I'll do like an accent when it's the actual person. Okay. We're behind the mountains, deep in the hollow, Bull Creek. It's a long, winding, tortuous dirt road, some 7 miles from Blackie. Aunt Katherine Haynes is 77. She lives by herself in a cottage on the rocks at the foot of the mountain. It is surrounded by Caterpillar tractors and bulldozers. On the wall, among olden photographs, is the legend, God bless our home. It is a spare place, singularly neat. A folded umbrella in one corner, a homemade broom in another. An ancient brass bedstead is the one conspicuous piece of furniture. She recalls the hollow of her small girlhood. The road, a horse could travel it, but that was all. No cars, no wagons, and no nothing back then. Then they went to have wagons and kind of widened the road up. Each man used to work 6 days a year, free labor, on the roads. If he wasn't out on the days the others was, why they laid him off a bigger piece to finish, and he had to do that. That was the law. They always done it in the fall of the year. In the fall of the year, it's the prettiest place you've ever seen. When the leaves is colored, it's beautiful to see the hills when it's colored like that. Brown and red and green and yeller. The pines always look green. And if the rest is all colored, the pines shows up. There was more big trees then, but the fields were cleaned up and tended. You can see there's nothing cleaned up anymore, 'cause I ain't able to do it. Housework and farming is all I done. Never worked at nothing else. 18 hours out of every 24. Out of doors and then in the house at night. I have worked out in the fodder field and carried it in some time after dark. We'd stack it by moonlight. Never got much rest on that little time I was in bed. You usually didn't get much rest on Sunday. Had to cook for 10 children on Sunday. I've raised 10 and I had 11. 3 meals a day I cooked on Sunday. I got so I couldn't cook like I used to. I used to be out here just running and cooking those meals in a few minutes and filling the table full. But my mind just jumps from here to there, and I can't do that no more. Just hard work. That's all I ever know. I can run circles around every girl I've got in the house today. I'm awful thankful for it, but I won't hold up much longer. I'm a getting down. Used to be I could stand and split wood all day long, but now I go out there and split a little while it hurts the back of my leg to stoop over. But I done awful well, I think. I just don't know. I was just raised an old hillbilly, and I die one. Radio, it's sitting up there, but I can't hear it too good. Don't have a television. I say there's too much foolishness on for me to watch. I hear a little about Vietnam, or as Bobby Lee would say, Vietnam, and I study a lot about it. But I have enough worry on my mind without listening to that to worry more about. What was to be would be. No, I don't guess I have a grandson in Vietnam now. Terry's boy. I actually don't know if he's out of Vietnam or not. They wasn't much to think on when you didn't have no education. I didn't get half through the third reader. So I've got no education at all. Only 5 months of school. I just quit out until we got the fodder saved. Then it got so cold I couldn't go back. I'm just a flat old hillbilly. That's the only way I know to talk, and the only way I'll ever try to talk. There was 15 in the family, and we were raised in a log house. There wasn't a window in the house. If we seen how to do anything in the winter, we done it by firelight. There wasn't even a kerosene lamp. We had to keep the door open regardless of how cold it was. If you needed to work at something, we either done it by the light of the fire in the grate or opened the door. We always kept a good fire. That was the way I learned to write. I'd get me a piece of clay dirt out of the cracks and write on the side of the log house. I couldn't write a line when I was going to school. Now that's the truth. That's it. So Aunt Katherine Haynes. Wow, that's pretty rough. I mean, the one part that stood out to me was When she said each man used to work 6 days a year, free labor on the roads. And if he wasn't out there on the days that the others were, they gave him a bigger piece to finish at the end, and he had to do it. And that's the law. So I'm assuming he'd go to jail if you don't do it. And I think that's a great idea. I mean, that's just awesome to have people, everybody, chip in their time and effort to maintain the city or the roads. It's kind of like compulsory military service, but instead of fighting wars, you're fixing roads or planting trees or something, doing something good for the community. I think that's a great idea. I mean, so this was in Kentucky. I wonder if they still do that nowadays. I know they don't do that where I am, Michigan. I don't know. I think because right now you have the public works, right? The city public works that's responsible for fixing the roads. And maybe they contract out stuff to different companies to work on things. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but I think it's a great idea to have people, citizens that take responsibility for the well-being of their town. Maybe that's something that we need to bring back, but I don't know. It's probably probably a good reason why we don't do that anymore. I mean, I can't imagine many people, myself included, sometimes would want to volunteer 6 days every year to work on roads. But then again, well, it's kind of dangerous to work on roads, right? With all these cars flying by. So maybe like small roads, not freeways, but roads around the city, around the neighborhood, around the suburbs or whatever. You get a gang together. You get some of that whatever that tar or that blacktop stuff. You get a gang together and just go down the street and patch things up. It's a good time to bond with your neighbors. You go outside. A lot of us are working from home nowadays, staying on the computer all the time. You get a good workout, doing some physical work. It's not bad. So maybe you guys can talk to your neighbors or relatives or whatever and start doing some of that. You know what? I think I've seen that. Some like private individuals, I think it was in California, they were tired of the roads not being fixed, so they just started going around and doing it themselves. Yeah. So what else? Vietnam, hillbilly, radio, TV, free meals on Sunday for 15 people. Aunt Katherine Haynes, man, she's a trooper. That's what they say. That's pretty rough. Pretty rough. A lot of respect to the hillbillies, I guess. Us city folk that we don't ever get to experience that kind of level of poverty, and we need to know that people are out there doing things with very little, and that's something to be maybe proud of, or at least respect it, right? Yeah, that's something that we lack nowadays. All right, hope you guys enjoy that. I'm going to edit this a little bit. I'm not a very good editor, so I'm just going to, I don't know, do what I can. And then put it on the YouTubes. And then we'll do another one. Well, I've got a lot. Actually, let's see. How many I've got? Book 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10. 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. It's about 50 different stories. No. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Oh, dang. Maybe close to 100 stories. Roundabout. So that's a lot of videos. That's a lot of material. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.